And we're live. What's going on, everybody? Dr. Matt here from the Wellness Wave in Bloomington, here with the great Tess Vergara.
Yes.
Yeah, from soulpowered Coaching. She's going to be one of our vendors at the event in December. We're super excited to have her. Are you super excited for the event?
I am excited for the event. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So now we can see each other, see ourselves. There we go.
I feel like a newbie.
No worries. So today we're going to talk about mental stress and thoughts here with Tess, because she does a lot of work with that. So I want to dive in, but first I want to talk about the hormone event we have coming up on December 4th. We're so excited for this event. My mentor, man, the myth, I always use Ross's thing. He's a great friend of mine. Dr. Patrick Flynn's coming over to give you a talk about, and really this talk, it basically changed this landscape of healthcare is basically what we're doing right now with what he started out doing with his wife about 20 years ago. And he's now doing this talk all over the country, helping people start changing their lives. And it's so important for you guys to make it to this talk. It's going to be huge. It's going to be awesome. We have great vendors like Tess. Dr. Patrick's going to be there giving this talk, so you're going to have time to maybe connect with him a little bit as well, kind of pick his brain. One of the smartest men I've ever met. Smartest man I've ever met. A great guy. So we're so excited to have him come over and do this event for us here at the Thomas Jefferson High School, December 4th. Show up early, get to meet us. We're really all about growing this community and building this community, and so that we can all connect with each other and kind of grow as one, right? That's what it's all about. Really connecting. So diving into this topic today, we're going to talk a lot about stress. It's a big concept, a big thing about what we do. Is we have the 3 T's, right? Thoughts, traumas, and toxins. I always lead with thoughts because I really think it's the most important one. And when I talk about thoughts, it's not just about how we think, and although it is a huge part of it, but it's also about how we feel, right? It's about that physiologic response that our body has to what we're thinking, right? Because there's studies done that, like if you think about a stressful situation that you've been in before, your body actually releases that same cortisol, that same response. So you still have that stress response even though you're not in it. So your body doesn't know any different from the way that you're thinking and feeling.
Right.
It tries to connect them, right? So a huge part of that is we have to start changing the way that we do think about things, right? So we can have that massive physiologic response that we want.
Right.
And I would say that 99% of the patients that we deal with right now have some sort of stress trigger that's holding them there. And that's why we brought her in. And I kind of wanted to dive into kind of just start out with like how you got into it and how you kind of started working with it. Go ahead.
How did I get into soul-powered coaching?
Yeah.
Well, long story, but
Let's keep it to a minute.
Depression. I got really mentally exhausted, but by the time I got there, that was like the manifestation for me that I needed help, that I was really spiraling down into depression. I wanted to check out, and that wanting to check out stayed with me for a long time. Nothing meant anymore. My children, marriage, nothing meant anymore to me. I couldn't do the job that I could do for 5 minutes. So I was procrastinating, not wanting to go to work, didn't feel like my life had meaning or purpose.
Right.
So that's what had me go into this soul-powered coaching. There's mindset, peak power, peak potential coaching out there. There's emotional release, your work, everything. Yeah. But then what I'm finding is the same experiences that my clients are having is how do you put all that information together?
Right.
How you bring all that back into wholeness? Because really healing is about wholeness. Yep. It's about integrating all that parts, because if we're not in that unified, soul-powered is what I call it, right? If we don't bring our soul power in, then we feel fragmented, we feel broken, we feel lost,
We see it all the time. People always come in here like, I don't know what's next. Like most people come in and they don't have a plan. They don't have, and they've tried all these different things. Like you were saying, they've listened to Tony Robbins. They've done like neuroplasticity. They read the books. They've done all these different things, and it didn't work for them. And I remember we were talking, just a couple minutes ago. We were just talking about this, and why doesn't it work for everybody? You know what I mean?
Right.
And you were kind of explaining.
Right. Because there's 4 pillars. Yep. Okay. Here's my notes. Came to me in a dream. I had to write it down just so I don't go all over the place, right? There's 4 pillars. We are physical bodies, right? You treat that a whole lot. We're mental bodies, emotional bodies, spiritual bodies. If we're only focusing on one or two and not all four and not integrating it, we feel all over the place. And then we're also have that fear of missing out or chasing what's the next bright, shiny object, right? Because we're not grounded in that soul power yet and our unique expression of who we are really at the core and what we came here to do, why we were born to begin with.
Yeah, and I think the big thing there was that uniqueness. Like, we're all individuals. We're all one thing. So we can all listen to Tony Robbins, but it's not going to work for you unless you're similar to Tony Robbins. And we're all this unique thing. We do the same thing for our care. When we look at people, you're not just a Hashimoto's patient. You're not just a depression patient. We look at you as a whole. And I think that's one of the big things we really connect on, is that it's not just one thing that we're looking at. And you are a very unique being. So how do we bring everything together so that it matches you, right?
Correct.
Nice.
Correct. Yeah.
So the 4 pillars, how do you address those then? Like, where do you go from there?
Where do we go from there? Okay, so I have a 4 process, right? Rewiring the brain. Where are we limited in our thoughts? Where is our thoughts limiting our infinite capacity?
Yeah.
And we don't know our infinite capacity because it's infinity, where it's growth, right? Whereas if we're in the fear-based mind or ego consciousness, I don't want to get into that, right? But if you're in that, you're limited, you're playing small, you're comparing yourself to others, and I can't do that, but why can he do that? It's like, and then there's judgment, separation. The more we judge ourselves, the more we separate from our wholeness, which is already who we are, the more we create the disease. We feel burnt out, fragmented, and we do not have that unified power to create that which we want to create or bring forth what it is that we want to do. So rewiring the brain is the first step for me, because that was my breakdown, the mental breakdown for me, right? And then release trapped emotion. Well, little did I know. Hurts from the past, hurts from my childhood, hurts before I came to earth, like things like that. It's all trapped in the body. There's a cellular memory in which you're treating, right? It's showing up in the hormones and stuff like that. And then third is you talked about physiological. We become product of our habits. We have to recondition that and to align to who it is, who is our soul power. And then reignite the soul. And then you don't try to be Tony Robbins.
Then you try to be you. Because we have this amazing ability to create our own lives and do these amazing things. But I feel like a lot of it has to do with society, where we're put into this position of fear. And we can talk about that. It's a whole another long conversation. But that's what you really work with, and which is so amazing, is like you tell them, and I think that's a huge part of giving them that ability to create their own life again.
Right. So the fear aspect is physical, it's mental, it's everything, right? But without that, let's say your mind is all fogged up and you don't have that clarity, you don't know where you're going. Do you feel confident in yourself? Do you know, right? So that's why the mental aspect of ourselves need to be reconciled, harmonized, and integrated in its own, and then also integrate and harmonize with all other parts of our being. That's physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And so fear, in order for us to really dissolve fear, is to bring that soul power in. Because with that ability to create, it's like the need to depend on others, the fear of your job being taken away from you. It dissolves because you can create that which you are clear you are meant to do. And
we kind of talked about in the beginning, like, not so much drawing yourself away from people, but embracing other people.
Totally.
And building that community, or like, I don't know how you did a really good job explaining it outside, but I can't put it into words. So if you want to just kind of talk about, like, when you drew back from people, right? When we were talking about your story, and that would really hurt you because you need more people in your life.
Correct. But that was my programmed conditioning, that if I get hurt, I would automatically think nobody cares.
Right.
Or I have to fend for myself. I have to take care of myself and protect myself and
Right.
all that coping mechanism and that. But then my world got smaller and smaller and smaller. And when our world gets smaller, our life force energy gets smaller. And then we go down to that spiral spin negatively, where we deplete our energy. There's no, like, when we deplete, we stagnate, we literally
Right.
die. I mean, maybe not physically, but our relationships suffer. Do we make money
Yep.
as much as we want
Nope.
to? No.
Nope.
Right? Our
Yep.
relationships die off. We isolate. We disconnect.
Yeah.
So when we're disconnected from ourselves, from the wholeness of our being, we're also disconnected from the whole
Right.
of the universe.
Yeah, that's a huge.
Whatever. Yeah, it's
Right.
a huge topic.
Yeah. Maybe we do another live on that. No.
But it's but that's what I do. I'm an
Right.
accountant for 30 years, right? So reconciliation is my game.
Yep.
So this is whatever you feed to me, I pick it up and I tell you, okay, this is what's missing or
Right.
what's not adding up. And this is where
Yeah.
I feel the energy is leaking.
And I love that you keep using this word wholeness, because that's what health is, like wellness. Yeah, you're just like looking at every aspect, every
aspect.
perspective.
No parts left behind
Right.
is my philosophy.
Ooh, that's good. I like
Yours is we don't guess, we test.
Yeah.
Mine is no parts left behind.
Right. That's amazing. So what kind of people do you work with? I know we were talking a little bit. Is there a specific type of person that you work with?
Yeah,
or?
these are the people who are already on self-empowerment path.
Perfect.
They've been to Tony Robbins. They've been to people like you. They've already there's 4 levels of consciousness. There's things are happening to me, victim consciousness.
Yep.
That's not the people I work with.
Right.
People I work with are ones who know that things are happening for them or through them. They're tapping into their creative ability
Right.
to create the reality that who they want to make happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you're working with the people who already understand stuff,
Yeah.
but like need to just put it together and
Put
move
it
on to
together,
the next
yeah.
level, right?
Yeah,
Because
reconcile.
I would say a lot of people live in that one area where like things happen to me, not for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of books for that.
You can read, get an Audible account.
2x4 also to wake people up from
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I'm not serving them. That's why I do
Right.
a lot of Facebook Lives like yourself to wake people
Information,
up. That
exactly.
There's new ways of thinking. It's not just one perception. We're like a diamond with different, again, wholeness, right? But different ways of looking at
Yeah.
it. You're coming at it from a health,
Yep.
hormones, testing perspective. I'm coming at it from where am I mentally breaking down? Because my clients, going back to your question, are more analytical
Yeah,
than emotional.
gotcha.
Yeah. Like when I got into this, I'm like, I'm not gonna do woo woo or what.
Oh yeah, woo-woo stuff before. Meditation's woo-woo.
So
Well, I meditate all the time, and I think meditation is great. And if you're not doing something, or you're not being more aware, or being in the present moment, is big for me. A lot of people think outside of that. They worry about what they have to do, all these different things. It's
Right.
constantly racking their mind, and they have no sense of present time. So they're never there. So they
Right.
never.
yeah,
never-
because their mental capacity is regurgitating the same
Exactly.
60,000 thoughts that they thought yesterday or they thought
Yep.
this morning, and there's no space there. And what meditation does is create that space where you can just distance yourself and observe the thoughts rather
Right.
than be
Be in
in
the thoughts.
the thoughts.
Nice. We finished each other's sentences. Look at that. And then all of that, when we're not managing those mental stressors, that just creates that physiologic stress, which then makes our physical body worsen. And I think it starts from the mental aspect. I think we start with all the massive stressors that we deal with on a daily basis, and then eventually our body's just like, man, I can't keep up with the constant worry. I can't keep up with the constant regret or
Right.
the constant fear, and then we lose that physiologic, like the physical manifestations of health too.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
go ahead.
the body has its own intelligence, right?
Right.
But when it's constantly in fear, in distress, then it's
Right.
the body is a reflection of what is in our consciousness.
Exactly.
So if you're thinking, I'm sick, I'm broken, I'm not enough, it's gonna manifest physically, whether through your body, through your finances, through your relationships.
You're only going to get 90 degrees of abundance instead of 360.
Right, very limited.
Yeah, and it's very important. And I think, where was it going? Oh, with the physiologic response and the hormone thing, it all ties in because when we stress out or we worry about those things, our cortisol goes through the roof.
Right.
And that has that fight or flight response. We're constantly trying to run from a lion, when really we're really just running from little kittens. We just think it's a lion, And that's
Correct.
kind of where you're fixing with, like, hey, it's just a cat.
Yeah.
That's where we're really bringing people's awareness to what they're really regretting or what they're fearing, and then allowing them, and then bringing all the pieces together like you do to bring in that soul power.
Correct.
Nice.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to add?
Oh, well, when we're separate from this soul power, that's when we have that false notion that we are separate from our own goodness.
Yeah.
That's what creates the brokenness.
Yes.
The distress, the disease, the illness. And so wholeness is the solution. Wholeness.
Wholeness. When we were first going out, we were talking out in the lobby, and she goes, I'm going to do this a lot. Turns out she was right. No, it's great. Thank you so much. How excited are you for the event?
Yeah.
For the hormone talk? Super stoked?
Yeah.
You're going to meet a lot of people? Yeah, it's gonna be a
I'm
great
bringing
time.
a few people with me,
Nice.
and I'm inviting even more people. So
Yeah.
hopefully after this, my friends are going to hook up with me for free tickets. Or you can pay, It's a no-brainer for me. I'm giving complimentary tickets or pay.
Yeah, so perfect. Thank you so much for coming on. Again, guys, check out Tess. Do you have a website or anything that I need to drop here?
www.tessvergara.com, TESSVERGARA.com.
And like she said, check her out on Facebook. She does a lot of cool lives, a lot of interesting information. She's just like us, just trying to provide information for the public so they can start taking control and not live in that fear-based place where a lot of people do. And it's really unfortunate. We see it all the time, guys. And this is going to be huge for us to be working with her and kind of doing some stuff in the future as well. So this isn't just a one-time live. But she'll be at the Hormone Talk. You guys need to come talk to her. She's very, very good at what she does. We're super excited to be working with her. And then, so December 4th at 6 p.m. Be there a little early. Like I said, hang out with all of our vendors. Hang out with me, Dr. Chloe. Get to know us personally. We're really trying to build that community, guys. Other than that, though, the big take-home point here is today, really work on the way we think about things. Get a hold of Tess. She's going to help you out a lot with that kind of stuff. We also work with you, but she specializes. Soul power. Get soul power. That should be your catchphrase. Get soul power. Mine's keep on learning and enjoy the journey. But get soul powered.
Yeah.
There we go. So
that's the wellness way.
there you go. But seriously, guys, thank you guys so much. Share this information, get it out there. Tell people about our events. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be huge. Dr. Patrick's coming, like I said at the beginning, and we're so excited to have him here. Other than that, guys, keep on learning and enjoy the journey.
Bye-bye.